This is the Prince Philip Challenge Trophy. Surbiton High School against Greenwich Crew from the USA. It's Greenwich Crew, you can see nearest the camera there. Very noisy Cox. Frances McKenzie making herself heard early there. So just watching as they come across to the right-hand side of the screen. I'm just keeping a close eye on Greenwich Crew USA. Trying to get some rhythm. You can see the wake. There was a bit of a snaking wake, wasn't there? It showed their steering had been a little bit meandering. And they are down, possibly as a result of that. Surbiton High School, top of your picture in the Berkshire station, have had the fastest start.
Yeah, it looks like a very aggressive start from the Crew on the far side. Really taking this race by the scruff of the neck. Nice to see. Again, those flags are picking up, that wind is picking up, and the conditions are becoming a little bit tricky to row, particularly in the sort of middle section of this race.
So up until this stage of the race, the initial burst from Surbiton High School, Greenwich Crew USA now have turned things round and have moved into the lead.
It's quite a nice mature row, I think, from Greenwich so far. Is just making sure that they absorb whatever was going to get thrown at them off the start. It looks like they've got into a nice high race pace here, and you can see that that's rewarded them with a good lengths lead.
They didn't panic, did they, after that slightly slower lead? It was sluggish out the blocks, but recovering it well.
Yeah, and you can just appreciate that wind and that waves, wind against stream on the middle of the course, and you can just see that shot. Just have a look and see one or two oars just getting caught in the water. It's going to become a big challenge today if that wind continues to build.
This is the action live as it unfolds on the water in front of the enclosures, and we're watching Greenwich Crew USA there with Cassidy McKee in the bow seat and Adair Beck in the stroke seat. The Cox Frances McKenzie, who was so audible up at Temple Island. And now we've got Surbiton High School finding it tough to keep pace.
It looks like Greenwich just moving across as well, just drifting into the middle of the course, not quite on their station. I think one maybe previously with umpire Sarah Winklis.
She'll be keeping a beady eye on them. Okay at the moment.
Nice shot here of Surbiton High School, really putting in a good race here, a good showing, coming through previous rounds, beating Aberdeen School by 1.5 lengths.
Yesterday, it's Claudia Alexander. You can see the 18-year-old in the bow seat.
Doing a really nice job here, putting those oars in really simply, hanging off and driving that boat past where they're putting the oars in the water. Lovely technique. Interestingly, the school's coached by Stuart Walker and Peter Robinson, as well as Flo Griffiths. And I know Peter Robinson back from Molesey days, so he's a Henley veteran here as well, raced him multiple times, so he'll have that unique insight of coming down the course and sharing that with the young women that he coaches.
So Greenwich Crew, Cassidy McKee in the bow seat there, and they're still going at a good rate. Working hard.
Yeah, and a really nice, simple stroke. We can just see the hull moving. There's a little bit of rudder there from the Cox Frances McKenzie. Even in these bigger boat types with the higher boat speed, we can see that it's very challenging to steer that straight course down the line, particularly in the 8 when you've got just 8 people in front of you, almost blocking that view. Lining up against a marker is really challenging.
There you are. You can see the potential veering. I'm getting a bit of motion sickness watching this, actually. I'm watching so closely, but there you are. You can see the boat trying to stabilise its line, and they have got a good lead here, Greenwich Crew. Greenwich in the Prince Philip Challenge Trophy in front of stewards. That'll be a good feeling for them. They beat Marlow Rowing Club easily yesterday on the same station, on the Buck station, and today they've dealt with Surbiton High School.
And this will be energising. You can appreciate in the background, for those of you watching at home, the crowds are starting to build, that energy is just lifting. Lovely atmosphere at Henley Royal Regatta.
And they'll be really pleased with that performance. safely through to the weekend. What a feeling that must be, having travelled over here. There's a little bit of pressure on all these international boats to justify the flights.
Absolutely, and as you build through the regatta, getting to the weekend becomes more of a thing. Oh, get to the Friday of Henley, get to the Saturday of Henley, and then obviously the big step is to try and win on finals day. So every day that these crews advance becomes an achievement in itself.